the Cryptonaut podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me is Chris Carnicelli
Hey.
and Rob Morphy.
How's it going?
We are formerly of the Earth Some Ideas Bastards podcast. You can find that archive at embpod.com. We recently started this new show, again, the Cryptonaut podcast. We're going to be kind of narrowing down our scope of topics to cryptozoological, ufology, paranormal phenomenon, occult, conspiracy theories, and just a whole plethora of unknown and weird topics.
Yeah, any unsolved mystery, sans Robert Stack. How Robert Stack got that job is the one mystery we're not going to be
His
talking
voice.
about. He had a great voice.
That's the deal.
Though
He
honestly,
really did.
Peter Graves could have done it too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they would have been great. But the fact
Amazing.
is, we absolutely
That's the deal.
love things that have no definitive answer. Most of them are going to go well into the paranormal range. I'm a cryptozoological junkie, as the rest of us are, but we've seen UFOs. We've known people with ghost encounters. We just love this stuff to pieces. And so basically what we're doing is, like Mark said, a laser-like focus on one case per episode, trying to bring it to you guys and trying to give you the stats that everyone knows and some details that we might have dug up in our, research over the years for the websites we've run and anything else that you might not be familiar with. So I'm very, very stoked about this.
So for our first episode, we're going to be covering the Loveland Frog Men, which are located in Ohio. So the Loveland Frog Men are coming in at 3 foot 6 inches. They weigh 60 pounds, and their habitat is the rivers and waterways of the Ohio River Valley. So just a quick little introduction here.
I love these guys.
Amphibious anomalies have shocked and terrified both the general public and police officers, yet remain one of the most intriguing cryptozoological mysteries in the U.S.
They're the best. This is the best monster you've never heard of, unless, of course, you have. If you have, you're going to love this. If you haven't, you're going to love it even more.
So these things are 3 foot 6 inches, 60 pounds. These are squat little things.
according
These are
to
squat little
eyewitnesses.
things.
That's weensy.
They're tiny.
The people that have seen it, and up to now there are, I think, something like 6 eyewitnesses that go all the way from 1955 to 2016.
Okay.
With big gaps in between. But they've all essentially described something that was between 3 and 4 feet tall. Had grayish skin, webbed fingers and feet, flat, squat faces, long, lipless mouths, eyes that universally are said, except for the last account, which we'll get into in a little bit, to be basically human. No discernible nose. It's a really weird thing that people in the Ohio River Valley have seen in one very specific area, to be honest. And it really ranks as one of my favorite cryptids in the history of, all the paranormal stuff that I've ever researched.
All right.
All right,
cool.
so
Here we
so
go.
we'll start
Robert,
with this
take
bit.
it away.
You got it. The story of the unique creatures known as the Loveland Frog Men, plural being essential, begins in the spring, which means literally the March or April of 1955. And that's because the guy who reported it didn't report it for about 10 or so years. So he was a little sketchy about the month. So we know for sure it was the spring.
Okay.
And it occurred on a lonely stretch of road known as the Madeira-Loveland Pike, which runs along the Little Miami River in Claremont County on the outskirts of Loveland, Ohio. Hence the name of these creatures.
Okay.
So the first account begins like this. At approximately 3:30 a.m., a short order cook named Robert Honeycutt, which is a great name if you like MASH, was driving home from work when he noticed what he thought were 3 men standing in a triangular pattern near a clump of bushes with their backs to the road. They were so small that Honeycutt first assumed they were on their knees praying. Needless to say,
weird.
This did not. Yeah. So he thought this was weird too. So Honeycutt's tired. He's driving home. It's 55.
Cooking all day. You're tired.
Everyone goes to bed at 9 in 1955.
I would if I could.
He's exhausted.
Yeah, I know.
From cooking up a storm.
Okay.
So because he sees 3 random dudes praying by the side of the road, he slows down his car to get a better look at the trio, and that is when he realized he was not looking at human beings. But 3 strange creatures that stood between 3 and 4 feet tall were covered with leathery gray skin and had webbed hands and feet.
Not what you want. You kind of want to see 3 dudes praying. You don't want to see that.
You're looking for Pentecosts, maybe Episcopalians at this point.
Yeah.
Something.
You're really not hoping for frogmen.
I'll take a Jehovah's Witness or 2. No,
when you're in
big
Ohio,
deal.
that's what you're going to get.
Okay.
That's the deal. So Honeycutt was unsure as to whether or not the frogmen were wearing grayish, skin-tight uniforms the same shade as their skin, or if they were simply shirtless. They were, however, wearing loose-fitting pants, and I have to say this, because comfort is key.
Why? I know,
Okay,
but why would
wait
you?
a minute. Hold on a second. The Loveland Frog Men were wearing clothes?
Now,
well, no, just pants, apparently.
well,
okay.
no, because Honeycutt, Bobby Honeycutt, Bobby to his friends.
Bobby Honeycutt.
Bobby Honeycutt. Okay.
He wasn't sure if they were wearing
wasn't
skin-tight
sure.
shirts the exact same color of their epidermis, which seems like a weird thing.
That's what I mean.
Like, you'd be like, was it the dearth of nipples? What was it that made him question whether or not they were wearing, like, Under Armour or nothing?
Yeah, because
But he clearly saw that they were wearing Sinbad pants. And that's important.
Well, were they like boot-cut Levi's? What were they?
They were loose-fitting
Were they
garments
Zubaz?
that properly covered the genitalia of said frogman.
parachute pants.
Because you know what? Shame matters in this world.
They were wearing hammer pants?
Oh,
I would like to
MC
think
Hammer.
so. Because when you think loose-fitting pants, you think MC Hammer.
Yeah.
When I think of loose-fitting
Jinkos.
pants, I think of Jinkos or like sweatpants or... Okay, but pants aside, please continue.
That's how they roll. The frogmen's frog-like, surprisingly, heads, which Honeycutt claimed had straight mouths with no lips, no discernible noses, and would look like a large fat roll rolling across their bald heads.
Like down the center, or
were astounding to him. Yeah. Now here's the thing. I don't know. Were they Mr. T Mohawk fat rolls?
Yeah, I don't know what
the
that
way
means.
I've often seen them described was ear to ear.
Okay.
But I don't
like
know.
that way?
Either
that's
way,
weird, yeah.
Either way, it's fucked up.
It's a weird
really
place
weird
for fat to be, yeah.
And it's not. And so that kind of basically says, besides the fact that you're shirtless, wearing parachute pants, and are 3 foot tall, you're wang on a fucking Ohio roadside, a lobe of random fat on your head.
Yeah, but what
it's non-human.
What were they doing?
Okay, yeah,
in a
no.
triangle pattern, just hanging out, being like, guys, we gotta get in the triangle pattern now. It's like fucking 3. Oh, all right.
All right, triangle pattern time.
Let's
quick.
go.
Rob's got tight pants. He's out.
I'm not done with the description.
I know.
All right, continue. Sorry.
The most distinguishing characteristics shared by these beings were their distinctly lopsided bodies with unusual bulges on their right sides and their left arms hanging noticeably shorter than their right arms. So
Quasimodos?
Yeah,
it's
do
a
they have
little-
like fucked up discs?
it's a little
or something?
John Merricky, which makes me feel bad because this goes from the territory of non-human to
Maybe they have
fuck.
maybe they have back problems.
They might have back. It might be scoliosis. It might be frogman with scoliosis. We don't know.
Yeah. Oh, the worst kind of frogman.
I feel
Sad frogman.
they all just happen to look identical and all have the same thing. hanging out in a
Well,
triangle.
here's the thing. All right, here's the thing. If you were an alien and you came down and saw the three of us, white guys with beards, usually wearing winter caps and or some kind of hoodie, you would not be able to really distinguish us apart. You'd be like, one's bigger, one's smaller, two
that's
are
true.
wearing glasses, but you wouldn't like have great, like amongst the frogmen, they might be like worlds apart. Like one's like Ryan Gosling and one's beat as shit.
Right.
But you can't tell if you're a human looking at frogmen. You don't know what's beautiful for a frog person.
So am I Ryan Gosling?
Well, maybe.
You're the Ryan Gosling.
Okay, good. Thank
There's
you.
more details within us than there are with what they're explaining.
Well, isn't that racist? Isn't that frog racist?
Get it together, 50s.
All right, so besides their lopsided shit, dangly arms, fucking awesome torsos, and fat roll heads, Honeycutt, who should have known better and just gotten the F out of there,
Yeah.
showing more curiosity than caution, climbed out of his car and slowly approached the strange beings. He watched as one of them lifted a rod-like object above its head
Whoa.
in what he called
Magic?
a graceful motion.
Had a magic wand?
You guys might not be off. Let me finish this because you might be spot
He
on.
Expelliarmus
Did
Honeycutt?
he play Quidditch?
This might be a Dobie scenario.
Okay, all right.
The device emitted bluish-white sparks from its top and bottom.
Oh, he fucking did. Wait.
Is that a spell? Is that technology?
Top and bottom?
I'm just saying he was holding something, top and bottom, bluish-white sparks.
Okay. Possibly a failed Roman candle. But continue.
Could be. It
Continue.
It could be bad cross-the-border fireworks.
Continue.
Now, this is how you know this is a real case. Because did it do something spectacular? Did it cast a spell? Did it part a Red Sea? No. This is exactly what it did.
Oh, no.
It spewed sparks from the top and bottom. The creature then attached the wand-like mechanism to its ankle. Because, damn it, you're going to put this shit away.
What?
Because it's not for children.
How do you attach it to
Because
your
he is an
ankle?
adult frogman who is using a specific tool for a specific job, and when it's all done, he's not going to F around. He's going to put it
you
back
know
in
what?
its holster.
I am
Respect
fairly
the
certain
frogman.
if you asked me 50 things of what would happen
Yeah, I
next,
would have thought I'd put it to it. So
yeah.
does
He's got an ankle holster.
does the frogman have a concealed carry for
It
his
does
magic
not
wand?
mention in how the baggy pants the wand was deposited.
ankle holster.
We just know it was.
I'm assuming that the baggy pants have a tight ankle. like hammer pants.
You would like to think so.
Well, if he's going to put the magic wand down there, yeah,
There's
you have
no
to.
evidence.
He didn't pull his pants up and put the magic
Honeycutt
wand
never
in
said how
Okay.
tight the ankles
Well,
were.
no,
Okay.
there could be a holster there that he just wasn't looking at. That was just
When you're looking at fat,
around.
loby frog heads,
Exactly.
how much are
true.
you going to stare at the
Yeah,
ankles?
that's true. That's
I
true.
mean,
And the
it's
thing is,
pretty
pull the
bizarre.
wand out, made a spell, and then put it back. So
Was it a spell? Was it?
Were the sparks
Okay,
done
maybe
when he
it's
put
not
it
a
in,
spell.
or were they still like?
See, that worries me because the pants would have caught fire. I think, unless they were
totally.
fire retardant magic pants,
could have been.
Sometimes magic
been.
does not affect the caster,
or
just
perhaps.
the castee.
And I'm going to go on a limb on this one. Space pants.
Oh, space.
I'm just saying,
Let's
space
When
pants.
you're
Okay.
looking at glowy wand pants wearing frog people, you've got to
Okay,
kind of
wait
think
a minute.
Okay.
ET a little bit.
Wait a minute. So the guy sees this, and they notice him, and he takes this thing out.
Well, no, they don't notice him yet.
Okay, they don't know. They
He
didn't
gets out of
notice
the car.
him.
He walks toward him. They still have their backs to him.
So this might be
Okay.
part of
It's
the
sparkly
ritual.
wand. It could be.
He just holds it up
could
and
be an
it's like,
incantation.
that sparkles on
I
both
know. I
sides.
imagine it made that sound too.
And then it's like, done. An ankle holsters it.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
That's
And
exactly
you-
what happened.
Okay,
All right,
continue.
cool.
You're absolutely right. All right, so it was at this point, once the mechanism was securely attached to the ankle, that Honeycutt got what he referred to as a telepathic impulse to leave the scene post-haste.
Ooh.
He got into his car and took off. Oddly, he claimed that the air was filled with the sense of, does anyone care to guess? Probably going to be wrong. I'm going to say it now.
Disaster.
Fresh cut alfalfa and almonds. So it was a nice,
Oh,
it was a
really?
pleasant smoothie.
So it's
It was a vegan
A
masterpiece.
vegan. Yeah, I feel like.
Again, I say this lends authenticity to the case because who says frogs have hammer pants 30 years before there were hammer pants, and then who says fresh cut alfalfa and almonds?
Fresh cut, not
No, not like
not like
3-day-old
your-
alfalfa.
yeah.
no,
Okay.
not the beat shit alfalfa, not Grandpa Frank's alfalfa. Like
So why would he get it?
hewn
Where
alfalfa.
did the tell? I'm confused. Why would he get that?
I don't know why he smelled that,
They're just
but he
like,
did.
They're like, dude, get away! And then he smelled that like on the way out.
Yeah, they turned towards him, which
Is that what happened?
yeah,
Okay.
I might have skipped that part.
Okay.
All right, no, you
So-
know what I did? I skipped a paragraph, and I apologize.
Oh, all
a
right,
paragraph
all right.
that
Let's
actually
retcon this
was-
real quick.
I'm doing my best. I'm reading.
No big
I'm
deal.
reading.
We
All
can
right,
do
so
it.
let me go past. Let me go to the beginning.
Okay.
of this.
Ankle holster.
Ankle holster.
Okay.
That was then when the three frogmen turned around to face Honeycutt. Before the cook, and he was a short order cook, could react, the three entities began to approach him with impassive expressions on their squat faces. So they turned, looked at him,
Okay.
started walking across the road
Right.
at
And
him.
that's when he got
normal-
the foreboding
and that's when he got the
feeling,
foreboding
and then
thought.
alfalfa
I
and almonds
apologize
and
to
a
the
vegan
audience.
shake. Okay. all right.
Not fear. It was clearly
No,
telepathic.
it
Like,
was just
Okay,
get the,
cool.
get the F out of Dodge.
Okay.
And then it was all alfalfa
Okay,
and
so
almonds.
we have the vegan shake. What happened next, Robert?
He went immediately to the home of Police Chief John K. Fitz.
To the home of, didn't even call.
Well,
oh,
it
he
was
has
late.
no cell
It's
phone.
2:30 in the morning. He's a rural sheriff.
It's the 50s. There's no cell
Dude,
phone.
there's
There's
greasers,
No, you don't have
not
it, yeah.
fucking.
I mean, what's he gonna do?
There's no WhatsApp. There's nothing like that.
No.
Okay, you can't face
No.
the sheriff.
Now, the sheriff later stated in his testimony that the short order cook, again, looked like a ghost. He was convinced that Honeycutt was both sober and sincere. This evidently resulted in, according to the locals, an FBI investigation, but nobody locally knew what the results were.
called the
So there were
feds?
men in black maybe roaming around
Really?
the roadside where the frogmen showed up. This is really sketchy because it comes to this point where there's no real record of it, but a lot of the locals reported that that's what they ended up seeing.
Huh.
When you call the FBI in, that lends a bit of credibility.
If indeed it happened. Were they the FBI or were they just guys in suits inspecting the area because they were from some branch of the government that studies these
Oh, deep state CIA. All right,
You mean
gotcha.
sneaky shit?
Gotcha.
things? Again, straight up Men in Black.
Yeah,
pre-
all right.
Area
Project Blue
51,
Book. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm
Wright
on board.
Patterson.
Not
I'm there.
books.
I'm there.
I thought somewhere there you think there'd be books.
All right.
Even the stuff not on the books, they have to have.
They have to have some sort of file. They have
Yeah,
to have some sort
right.
of
Some
record.
sort of-
You're right.
Like,
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Well,
thing about this first
that's weird.
encounter with frogmen is it has all the earmarks, with the exception of a UFO, of an extraterrestrial encounter.
Right.
Technology.
That's true.
Clothing.
Right.
Ostensibly Men in Black dicking around the area
Yeah.
after it's done. Though I don't know if Honeycutt was actually interviewed. But the weird thing is, as bizarre as this is, there were more cases to happen in the decades to follow.
Okay.
So this 1955 case is a big deal. And people knew about it, and it became sort of an urban legend. But then the second event happened on March 3rd, 1972, nearly 17 years after the first report, when Loveland police officer Ray Shockey was driving on Riverside Drive near the Totes Boot Factory.
Totes Boots!
Totes Boots.
The best.
Totes Boots for life. Near the Little Miami River when he saw something that would forever change his life. Dramatic noise.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Nice.
The officer in question described a creature as being, and it was a single creature at this point, 3 to 4 feet tall and weighing in the area of 50 to 75 pounds. He also claimed that the skin had a leathery texture and that the animal's features resembled those of a frog or a lizard. This thing scrambled away. It's all he saw. He made the report. He got a lot of crap from his bosses. All right. So 2 weeks later, another officer that worked with him named Mark Matthews was driving towards Loveland when he spotted what he believed to be an injured animal lying on the pavement. Matthews climbed out of his cruiser, obviously he stopped first, with the intention of removing the carcass from the already ice-slicked road. That's when the creature abruptly lurched upwards in a crouched position. Taken aback by the creature's reptilian visage, Matthews unholstered his revolver and took a shot at the thing, which then proceeded to hobble over the side of the road and step over a guardrail, all the while keeping a watchful eye on the trigger-happy officer.
So he shot it, it got up and went over the guardrail. He didn't
gave
shoot
him the
it.
stink eye.
It was pissed. It
Oh,
gave
well,
him some
who wouldn't
shade.
be? He's like, what the fuck, dude?
Okay, so he shot
I'm
it.
playing possum, so you leave me alone.
He shot it.
Yeah.
He gets out of the car, it jumps up, he shoots it, and then it walks over the guardrail, but he doesn't shoot again.
No, it didn't say he
all right,
does.
All right, just making sure he didn't. Seems weird, like he would take more shots at it.
You would think.
You would think.
And then again, all right, now think about this. I don't know what it's like to be an officer. I don't know what it's like to fire your gun at living things.
I'd imagine it's got to be kind of shocking.
But when you see some weird reptilian thing dead in the road, and then it pops up, like Spider-Man. That's the crouched position. Every time I hear a crouched
That's what you
position,
picture.
it's always Spidey.
Yeah, that's what you
So
picture.
you've got a Spidey frogman, and he's looking at you, and you're like, oh, F this, bam.
Right.
And then you hit it, and then he's like stands up. He's about 3.5 feet tall, and he's looking at you like, you son
Gives
of
you
a bitch.
shitty look like asshole.
I'm walking to the swamp over here, but I swear to the baby.
Yep, okay.
One more
He leaves.
shot,
Yeah.
He leaves.
you don't live to kiss your baby.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming.
Magical wand.
Well,
aside.
this one didn't have a wand.
Okay, all right, cool.
The past frogmen had pants and wand.
Okay.
This one just had skin and an attitude.
Yeah.
And there's a key difference there.
Okay.
We might be talking about different species altogether.
Yeah.
There
No,
might have
these
been a
last
UFO
two-
landing.
yeah,
aliens,
there's
and this
no-
might be like just an old
Something
school
different.
Yeah.
earthbound swamp monster.
Okay, cool.
And they just come from the same place, and people are like, oh, you're the same person. It's like, no, he's not my cousin. Stop doing this. Stop conflating us, you jerk.
Okay.
You don't know. Or maybe they are. I don't know. So, once the frogman got away, this is what the officer reported. But years later, he reneged on the original tale and claimed that what he shot was nothing more than an iguana, which likely escaped from its owner, and that he took the creature back to his partner, well, not partner, but co-worker Shockey, showed it to him, and Shockey said, oh, yes, this is what I saw, the officer that saw the creature 2 weeks before, and that the corpse was disposed of without any fanfare, and that was it.
How big is this iguana?
What smacks of the... Oh, and by the way, it was a tailless iguana. What this smacks of to me is years later, he doesn't want the ration of crap. He saw something weird. He shot it. It got away.
Right.
His friend from a
He
few
found a
weeks before
scapegoat.
saw something. And he's like, you know what? We killed a pet iguana. I showed it to Bill. Or Ray. Ray is literally his name. Ray said, yep, that's what I saw. We threw it in a swamp and never thought about it again.
Right.
Because
Credibility's back.
Exactly. When you're a cop in rural Ohio, you need this ration of shit.
Yeah.
You need the grief that comes from
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You've got your pension
Yeah,
and
you
your
don't wanna
wife
be-
and some
yeah,
football.
you
You
don't wanna
need
be
this
that guy,
grief.
yeah.
I don't
Problem
need it.
Yeah. So like, we had an iguana, we killed it, had no tail. I brought it back. He was like, yes, iguana I saw too. And then it was
Yeah,
over.
nobody wants years of
The
ridicule.
fucking iguana scapegoat.
And he only changed his story 30 years later. So 30 years later, after the report is filed, he's like, I didn't shoot no monster. It didn't get away. You know, it was an iguana.
Goddamn iguana.
We all know it was fine.
Okay.
Leave me alone. And who can blame him?
How would you shoot an iguana?
Well,
They're not very
I know
if it crouched like Spider-Man and glared at you.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing, too.
I have to assume it's night. None of these say what. I'm assuming it was.
It's night. I
These are all
believe it's night.
Night,
Every
so
one of
you
these
can't
cases.
see, but iguana, I mean.
Yeah, weird.
All right, so things get a little sketchier at this point.
Okay.
Later in 1972, an anonymous farmer reported the sighting of 4 bizarre creatures while inspecting his fields, which were located adjacent, again, to the Little Miami River. The farmer claimed that the eyes of the frogmen were large and circular, their skin was pale greenish-gray, and perhaps most disturbingly, that their mouths were wide and filled with sharp teeth.
Ooh, Sharpie McBiter mouth.
Yeah, no, we didn't see teeth in the other ones because they didn't open their mouths. But I mean, no reason to assume they're not predators.
They might be retractable, like Wolverine's claws.
All right, let's assume that, because you know what? It's cooler if you assume that.
Yeah, adamantium.
It's not based on facts.
No,
it's just better if you assume it.
Love
Thankfully, these creatures
Marvel Comics
did not attack this guy. They just disappeared back into the swamp. So that's the last thing that happened until August of 2016. Now,
really? Really? I didn't know about this.
I have to say this is, in fact, the last reported thing, because I am sure
all right.
at least 14 people saw it and were too terrified to report their encounter. And or didn't want the ridicule.
Cool.
I'm not sure of this. I just have to assume that there were some people that saw something that don't want the grief of a frogman in their life. Because honestly, it's a lot of grief. It really is. It's a ration of shit you don't need from your coworkers, generally speaking.
Yeah, Bob saw the frogman.
It's true.
Bob's losing his shit. Bob's going nuts.
Let me take you guys back to the surly hot days of August 2016.
Damn.
When Sam Jacobs and his girlfriend spied a nearly 4-foot-tall, glowing-eyed bipedal frog-like creature as they crossed the train tracks near the banks of Lake Isabella in the water behind the Congregation Beth Adam Synagogue in the Loveland Madeira Road area in Ohio, which I have to assume is the same as the Madeira Loveland Pike from 1955.
Yeah,
I have to assume at least it's the basic
Isn't there
same
a
region.
Miami River somewhere involved here?
Yeah, well, no, this is Lake Isabella.
Oh, okay,
now, I'm not an expert on
the other
mid-Ohio geography.
The other sightings were lake or river, the Miami River.
But the Loveland Madeira Road is a lot like the Madeira Loveland Pike that Honeycutt saw the creatures on to me. So it has to be very similar. Ironically, the couple were searching for imaginary monsters while playing Pokemon Go when they not only saw but took the first official photograph and video footage of the Loveland Frog Men. Man, I should say. It's a singular man. And it's a crazy picture. It's got these glowing eyes like literally Buick headlights. It's nuts.
Can we include these? I'll be sure to include these in the description of the podcast.
This is what Jacob said. We saw a huge frog near the water. Not in the game. This was not in the game, literally Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
This was an actual giant frog. Then the thing stood up and walked on its hind legs. I realize this sounds crazy, but I swear on my grandmother's grave this is the truth. Not sure if the frogman is just a giant frog. Either way, I've never seen anything like it.
Okay, here's a photo real quick. There you go. Okay,
we'll put that in the
pod.
I absolutely remember when that came out, actually.
The image shows what is either distinctly a non-human entity standing in shallow water with glowing eyes or a poorly constructed suit adorned with twin flashlights. Yeah. Was this young couple perpetrators of a hoax, the victims of a hoax, or eyewitnesses to an actual bona fide cryptozoological event? That's a question.
All right.
The photo's shady. I'll admit. The photo, because we've all seen like raccoon eye. I always say raccoon. I don't know why I pronounce it that way. But like raccoon. Animal eyes reflecting.
Right, when they reflect in
and they're always demon eyes.
Those are F-S-and bright headlight eyes.
They are, yeah.
In the water. Unless its eyes are literally
platters
they were
playing
of reflective
Pokemon
material.
Go with their phones, which is like an augmented reality thing where you have your phone out and you can
and
see.
And you're looking for little fictional beasties.
And that's where they came across a giant frog in the water. Okay, so then they obviously exit the app and they bring their phone up and then they take a picture of it.
And allegedly some video.
Okay,
but at this point, this is what's interesting. It's like, oh man, that's a giant frog. That's weird.
Right.
Oh, it's standing up.
Yeah.
Now maybe somebody was messing with them. Maybe they were just simple victims of a hoax. Maybe there really was something there. But the Ohio River Valley is full. Here's the weird thing to me. There are all these things that are all going to go under like the heading of the Loveland Frog Men. But what I think is that we have like very separate issues of what might all be cryptozoological and or paranormal and or extraterrestrial. But maybe.
Well, it's really not like it's... I mean, Cleveland is kind of on the water. Like, it's on... It borders...
Oh, absolutely.
Whatever lake that is.
The Mistake by the Lake. Erie?
Yeah, whatever. But I mean, literally, the Rock and Roll
geography.
I know we suck, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is literally like it's there.
Right.
So there are waterways in to
absolutely.
So
right.
No, I mean the Ohio River
traveling through the waterways.
There are tons of things.
I mean,
by the way, if I may, it's not this. We will cover in other episodes, I am sure. There is the alleged green-clawed beast that was in an Ohio river. There is the weird octopus man thing that was seen in another Ohio river.
The Octosquatch?
Yeah, Is it the octosquatch?
It might be the octosquatch.
No, it's not the
Don't quote
octosquatch.
me on the octosquatch, but it could be.
Ah, shoot.
Okay.
It's something
We'll
weird.
come back to it.
Octopussy.
Future episodes.
I'm just saying the Ohio River Valley waterways are absolutely chock full of cryptids well beyond the frogmen. The first batch of frogmen really seemed to me, sans the flying saucer, extraterrestrial-ish. Or are they weird, like gnomes or something?
Well, so that one's more. The very first one is more intriguing. The other ones are a little vague, and weird. But
it's
that
a weird
first one
reptile
is
thing.
There's a lot of
vaguely
vaguely, weirdly specific things about that first one.
They're definitely bipedal.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
They're
the other
definitely
one's
wearing
like
clothes.
there's a thing in the road, and it kind of got up, but there's no real. None of
It
these
just
have.
seems to me like they're all described as a frog man. So you have three, right?
Well, yeah. Well, slightly.
Well, there's the farmer,
But-
the
and
anonymous
they're all-
farmer.
Okay, so
There's Honeycutt,
they're all
Shockey,
described as
Matthews, the
frog
farmer,
men.
and Jacobs.
Or could
So there's all of
frogmen,
those.
could that be like something like with Greys, maybe, from Aliens?
I doubt that because they didn't mention a large
Yeah, no, they
cranium and
didn't.
big black eyes. They were like normalized
I would just
fat
think
lobe
that
head.
if they're all described as like these 3 to 4 foot little frog creatures, they'd have to be related somehow.
Maybe.
I feel like the explanation in the first one with the wand has nothing to do with the thing in the road that scampered off.
Yeah, but they're all.
And by the way,
frogmen.
there's an eyewitness.
Well, no, not necessarily. They're just saying there's a reptilian or the scales, but they're not.
But they could be different
Right.
things. There's
Yeah,
an
completely.
eyewitness sketch done by the wife of one of the 2 police officers of the second creature that was apparently seen. And that that's like the classic frogman stepping over the guardrail image that a lot of us have seen, which is not wearing pants and does not have a wand.
Right.
It does not have a fat lobe on its head. It has like little scales.
I mean, do we have
So
to
I think
maybe-
it's 2 different things.
Do we have to maybe like take
Yeah,
out
at least, right.
It seems like the pants and the wand are like one of these things are not like the other.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
we might have to take. I mean,
Well, that's what I mean. It doesn't.
it seems like if you take those 2 things out, then you get frogmen. Not wearing pants, possible tight
if you dismiss
Under
the
Armour
first
and a wand,
story, then
like,
the other ones that make you can find some more common ground
Right.
between those last ones. But I find that first one a lot more intriguing
maybe they had a road flare.
because it's so specific.
They could have had a road flare.
Why?
Man, what would they do?
Because-
Did they
An
find a
ankle
road flare
holster and
Maybe
a
they-
fucking road flare?
Maybe they found the road flare and they just ignited it like you do.
and then put it on your
You guys
ankle
have
of your
never
poofy parachute
ignited
pants?
a road flare for fun?
And-
You've not fucking lived.
Oh my God!
You really never lit one
You
for fun.
refuse to believe. You refuse to believe in.
No,
No,
because
I'm just trying to
they're
find-
for
Frogman.
emergency use,
I'm
not for fun.
And you've never let off a fire extinguisher.
No.
You
Yes.
have. Exactly.
It's a church.
Exactly.
To extinguish fires.
Can
Exactly.
it, Dad? I know
Exactly.
fun.
I know safety.
I know fun.
So I guess the only thing that's tripping me up is that you have these separate incidences, and the only one that's really weird, even weirder than a regular frogman, is that you got parachute pants, wand, sparkler.
Right, the first story,
Yeah,
which makes no sense.
There's a lot of specifics in that story,
Isn't that
though.
the point?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But, so is that the
That's-
dude? Is that just something that he misconstrued?
Maybe.
Or
it seems
not.
too specific. Parachute pants and a wand.
Or is the specificity exactly what lends credibility?
That's what I'm saying.
To
It seems,
this account.
it
I
seems so
see.
oddly
Okay.
specific. The other one's like I saw
I
this
saw something
scaly
crawl.
weird thing and it scampered and it started looking at me with
The
some
roads were
eyes.
icy. I shot it.
This guy saw some big eyes
All right, so
vaguely. I don't know
let's
what it
speculate
was.
here. Let's do a little speculation.
All right.
Okay, so the first was what, 1950 was the first
55.
sighting? Okay, 55 was the first sighting. Was it 3 of them on the side of the road in a triangle, baggy pants, possible
Right.
Under
And
Armour,
some sort of weird
magic
ceremony.
wand in the holster.
Lest you forget the fresh alfalfa and
I'm
almonds.
sorry. Well, that was after the psychic connection happened.
Well, yeah.
Okay, and then they had fresh
All of which-
alfalfa and the almonds.
All of which screams extraterrestrial encounter.
Exactly.
All
So-
of that says like,
just weird, I know.
semi-abduction, alien.
So if these
interaction.
are the forerunners, I guess, of this species of alien,
what
that
the
came to
triangle of
Earth.
praying frogmen that weren't really praying because they
Could
were
be.
worshiping the devil of
Right.
the wand.
Why is it gotta be the devil? The
Well,
wand?
what else could it be? It's plain
Sparkle
spews
baton.
fire. Come on.
Maybe
the 4th of July is for the
I
devil.
mean,
We
a lot
all
of
know
things
it.
spew fired, and just not Satan. At least nothing cool.
All right, well,
Cirque du Soleil.
Okay,
Let's move on.
So if this is like the forerunner for some type of extraterrestrial
Yeah.
that happened to show up, and then
Creatures.
these other ones that are seen are just the what? Passengers?
Or maybe they like porked random alligators and had half breeds that weren't
Oh,
smart
yeah.
enough to wear pants and wield wands, and they're
Didn't
like,
think about
"I'm just
that.
crawling across the road.
Yeah.
Stop shooting
So
me, dick."
what is the stop shooting? I'm not a goddamn.
Right. Well, those could easily. I feel like the first story that's a lot of different. The other stories just sound like some crypto, something that could be
like the Lizard Man of South Carolina or other weird reptilian things.
That first story is very much more paranormal
for the frogmen.
Well, the prevailing theory is that they've continually been in the Ohio River Valley since who knows when. First seen in the mid-'50s, then seen intermittently since. But the more the evidence comes to light, assuming, of course, that it's based on legitimate eyewitness, viewings and not just like some crazy MK Ultra stuff, that I think that they clearly represent, as Chris has been saying, very separate types of incidents.
It feels that way.
So are these considered extraterrestrials, or are they considered cryptozoological?
Cryptozoological by and large, but I think the more you read about the Honeycutt encounter in 1955, the more you have to say this can't be cryptozoological because there's no Sasquatch in pants changing a tire.
Well, that's what I mean. It's so oddly specific that
what kind of size Levi's does Sasquatch wear?
Right. They have
73.
Spanx. They have like.
I mean, I have stretchy tight jeans. And I'm not a small dude, but I couldn't imagine the size for Sasquatch.
No, they would need mad jaggins.
They'd be some huskies. Mm-hmm. Huskies.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so...
Big and tall.
So,
I don't know, man.
I don't know. This is weird.
I think the problem you're having, Mark, is that you really desperately want to put this into one file.
No, it's true.
I don't think you can.
No, I do.
You're trying to find a bridge, and I don't think that's...
I'm trying to bridge the baggy pants, wand wielding frogmen to the frogmen of today. Look, were they the pilgrims that came from whatever planet that they were from, and then they started populating around the Ohio River?
It's a possibility.
Area.
I mean, it's a possibility.
It just seems too weird that they're not connected.
Like E.T., they might have been left behind, and then like 3 or 4 generations down the road, they're less civilized. They don't know how to use their damn wands anymore. They're like, fuck pants, I'm living in a swamp. It's a possibility. They devolved, you're saying? They could have devolved.
Did they turn white like an old dog?
No, because that's when E.T. dies, it's sad, and frogmen don't do that.
Okay.
Because
Elliot
I can't
left.
have it.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
I'll tell you what. Point of fact, if I saw a half-white dying E.T. frogman, I would shoot it 6 times. If I were that cop,
I might curb stomp it.
No, it's scummy. Yeah, you have to group stomp it. It's E.T. If you see dying E.T. honestly, and you're not Elliot, and you haven't gone through the whole
Can you imagine seeing that by side? It's like
you pointing
a finger. It could be a laser that killing you.
Oh, that's a cinder block to the head.
You have to at least drop an elbow.
Absolutely.
Can I give it like a Stone Cold Stunner?
It can't live.
Or a Hulk Hogan leg drop, pin it and get the belt and take off.
The big boot. Give him the big boot.
You give him the fucking leg drop, get the celestial belt, but then you get aliens coming for the belt, and they're like, "I heard you beat E.T." Like, wait a minute.
And that's where the Ultimate Warrior shows up.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. All right. So yeah, I mean, okay. So your theory is that the baggy pants wand compared to the other ones is different.
I feel like they're different.
Just the same area, same type of weird lizard people, just different.
When you have waterways,
you never know.
Okay,
I mean, they are the freeways of the paranormal.
It's not like a lake that's in the middle of a thing, and there's no other way really in.
Right.
True.
Right. So they can travel on the waterways.
Yes, there's definitely ways in and out there. So
I mean, the parachute pants and the wand are throwing me.
They should.
They're just tossing me.
Because you know what? You know what some crap ass paranormal experts do? They throw those details away, because most of the early accounts I read of the Loveland Frog Men did not include those, because you know what? They don't want that. They want it to be a lizardy, amphibious creature that lives in the swamps and waterways. But when I did more and more research, I realized, oh no, they've got MC Hammer pants and glowing wands, and deal with it. Because you throw that away because you just want it to be this.
Okay.
But you have to take all the evidence,
no, you do.
No matter how absurd it is, and then equate it in. And if it comes out as ridiculous, that in some way substantiates it even more to me, because you're like, nobody would make shit up this ridiculous.
That's right. That's what I mean.
Right. Because of how ridiculous it is, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be made up because of how ridiculous it is.
You don't go to the local police chief and be like terrified at 3 a.m. and wake him up in his home to go, holy crap, I saw this.
Right.
And of course the cop later says he's sober, he's not on drugs, he believes what he's saying, unless you're either psychotic or genuinely saw something you can't explain.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are saying that they're two separate, not connected.
I don't know entirely that they're not connected, but they don't have to be, and they don't seem to be based on the descriptions.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying
That's
because
what I mean.
they're frog people, they're connected.
I think it's a generic appellation based on the fact that they have squat heads and lipless mouths and barely a nose. I think that it just is what, you know what? It's racism. It's simple bigotry. They look at something that is atypically non-human and be like,
and they say it's a frog. They call it a frog. It's terrible.
I mean,
it's horrible.
Right, because that first description was oddly specific, but the other ones were very vague.
And much more reptilian, for the record.
Yeah.
With teeth.
Yeah.
And the eyewitness drawing done by the wife of, again, I don't remember if it was Shockey or Matthews, shows like scales very crocodilian, like a few rows of scales and like pointy ears and things that were not indicated in the honeycut description.
Right.
So I feel like it was, and certainly no pants.
Right.
They were
a
pantsless.
complete lack of pants.
The 1972 sightings on seem to be animals. The 1955 sighting seems to be something
different,
at least worthy of garment.
Right.
Whatever that may be.
Wearing...
Get these frogmen some pants.
Right. I know.
I feel like they
Lord
were just...
says the frogmen
I
must
really
don
want to.
pants.
I really want to like imagine in my mind that there's frogmen in like out in the swamp running around with like juncos.
They should be.
And it's 2017, and they don't, or 2018. I'm sorry, and they don't care.
They don't give fudges.
It's juncos. And
they don't
wear
care.
them, and they're just kicking around with these little tiny frog legs, juncos everywhere.
Flare-filled batons.
Yeah,
Comfort.
They're in
Yeah.
parades. They love parades. Apparently, they're just like
clearly.
Yeah, they're just doing it.
All right, so cool. There you have it.
That's
I
the
think
Loveland
that
Frogmen.
Is, that is the Loveland
You've got
Frogmen
answers.
In a
of
nutshell.
Yeah, you've gotten answers.
We've explained it all.
Some things might be true. Some things might not be true.
You know what the
Our
most exciting part
speculation
is?
could be questionable.
And I think we all agree.
Nah, we're right.
Pants. Pants are the most.
frogman,
Nobody talks about. But the most exciting thing about Loveland Frogmen, pants.
Well,
And
the
a wand.
the ankle
Well, I mean,
holsters.
the wand.
The wand.
Yeah.
whole accoutrement.
The dual-sided sparkling ankle holster.
Yeah,
All right, fair
the
enough.
wand and having the holster is
But I got to say
That's
this.
important.
How cool would it have been if they had a glaive?
that
Dude,
would've been
alcohol
dope,
makes
yeah.
everything better.
I know. We could wish.
Glaives always make everything cooler.
If it was a sparkling glaive, I might die a happy man.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it. Thank you for joining us for the Cryptonaut Podcast. Be sure to check us out online at cryptonautpodcast.com, Twitter at cryptonautpod, facebook.com/cryptonautpodcast. Instagram is Cryptonaut Podcast. Be sure to rate and review this episode on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and any place you may be listening to this podcast. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me is Chris Carnicelli, and
Rob Morphy.
we're talking to you soon.
See you later.
Bye-bye.